It's the first time we're doing this, and I'm actually quite excited, but we're going to do a couple of things. We are going to do a stretch routine, but for those that are just tuning in again, a glass of water, you're going to need one of those. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. I'm going to start at 9:02. Glass of water and a small hand towel or a towel such as this, so that you can roll it up. And what we always do is, if you've got your towel already, what I always do, lie it down, and we're going to roll it just into a little tight ball. Now, usually I would use a foam roller, but I know that many of you probably don't have a foam roller to hand. If you do, it will look something like this, and it will have a selection of knobbles, or it will be a flat one, like a cut-off version of a woggle. You know, the things you used to use for swimming and for swimming lessons with kids. Well, you'll need either one of those two things. I'd probably suggest a towel to start with, but this is going to be a stretch class for absolutely anyone. You can do it because you are stiff, you can do it because you've just got back from a run like I have, or you can do it because you are just generally feeling a little bit tight and you want something to do on a Saturday morning. If you're doing it because of the latter, fantastic. I am going to be doing, hopefully try and get a couple of these done this week. I know everyone's starting to struggle a little bit. This is the reason I'm doing it in the first place. We've had a lot of patients asking what they can do and how they can improve their flexibility, their mobility, so we're going to sort of go through that. So, hopefully you've all settled in and you've got your water, you've got your towel, or you've got your foam roller, and you're ready to rock and roll. So, stretching. What we're going to do, I did have some background music. I know I promised a playlist, but unfortunately Sony have knocked us back and they've tried to claim rights over our video because I had some music playing to start with, and I'm not happy about it. But it's neither here nor there, we're just kind of getting on with it. So, always do, we're going to start off just sitting on the floor. If you've got a rug or a mat or something like that, I mean, I'm using my rug in my living room. It's very furry, very fluffy. And we're going to use something like that that's a little bit more comfortable to lie on rather than a solid floor. So whether it is a towel or a yoga mat or something a little bit more cushioned, because lying on the hard floor can be a little bit uncomfortable. So let's start. Why not? It's 9:02. You've had enough time. You've got your water. You've got your towel. So let's go through this. So what I'm going to get you to do, starting off, sitting on the floor. Okay, you're going to sit legs out straight. If you can't sit legs out straight, just slight bend, heels on the floor. Just take a little bit of pressure off the lower back. But realistically, I want you to try and sit up as tall as you possibly can. And then from there, all we're going to do to start with is just increase a little bit of range of motion. So just tilting the head, I want you to just drop ear to the shoulder on the right hand side. Okay? And each of these stretches we're going to hold for about sort of 10, 15, 20 seconds each time. Okay? And then just going to drop it over to the left side. Now you'll see on mine that I have one side tighter than the other. My left side is definitely tighter, which means I'm a little bit stiff. And actually I could probably do with treatment, but the situation as it is, it's very, very difficult. And then we're just going to go back to that right side. And if you're comfortable enough to lower your legs down, do let them rest on the floor, sit up nice and tall to the lower part of the back. And as you're dropping down, you can use the arm just to gently pull, okay, just across to that right hand side. Good. And then from there, you're going to come the other side again, drop the ear down to the shoulder, and just gently guide the head down. Now I know a lot of you are going to be quite stiff through this, so do take your time, don't push it. A lot of us are working from home, a lot of us are trying to, a little bit of an advancement for this, where you sit on the opposite hand, and then same thing, just going to pull across again. A lot of us are working from home, doing paperwork, sat in really awkward, uncomfortable positions rather than our desks at work. And this time you'll feel the stretch coming all the way down to the shoulder rather than just the neck. Just gently put it down, ear to shoulder. And then swap hands, so you're going to pop hand underneath your bum, and then just gently drop it down. Pulling all the way down, again, all the way through that shoulder that should be filling. Good. And as you come up, nice and gently, so always place both hands just underneath the top of your thighs, okay, so you're able to sit up. If you pop them under your bum, sometimes it can be a little bit of a strain on the lower back, so just under the top of your thighs, okay, and then from there, just going to drop chin, all the way down to the chest. Good, and what you'll notice as well is as you do this, you'll feel the stretch coming all the way down to the middle part of the back. Okay, so right down sort of if you're a lady or if you're a man with tendencies, then you'll feel it around sort of the bra strap area, and it will just come all the way down. By tendencies, I mean tendencies to wear bras. And you'll feel that coming all the way through. Some of you may even feel it going down to the lower part of the back, and the reason being is because what you're actually doing is stretching the spinal cord as much as stretching the back. So just dropping it all down. Good, and then from there, just going to come up. Big deep breath in, and as you lower the head down this time again, you can just roll the shoulders. And really roll through that lower part of your back as well. Good, and hold it there, again, 10-15 seconds. If you're anything like me, you'll tense through your legs and your legs will shake like a rabid dog. As we come up, just going to sit up nice and tall. Big deep breath in, okay, and then from there, some of you may be asking why I'm not going backwards, and there's a reason behind that. It's because a lot of you at the minute are very uncomfortable. So what you want to do is just going to stretch off the back of the shoulders. Arm's going to come out nice and straight in front of you. You're going to wrap the other arm around just above the elbow, and then just take a very gentle pull across the body. Again, sitting up nice and tall. Okay, if you can't sit up nice and tall, then obviously just adjust the legs. But we're just going to come across the body. Again, as I said earlier, I am very, very, very sorry that there's no music. Sony have decided they want to try and claim our video because of the music rights. I'm devastated, absolutely devastated. Spent 10 minutes in that playlist this morning. It was awesome. Okay, keep pulling all the way across. Good. And gently, same thing, arm out straight, just above the elbow. And then just gently pull the arm back across. As I said, the reason we're not going backwards with the head is because actually a lot of us are quite stiff and a lot of us are quite uncomfortable. Going backwards has a nice tendency, if the joints are already stiff, to probably trap or even squash some of the nerves and actually the muscles in the back of the neck as well, which will actually make it quite uncomfortable, possibly even induce like a little bit of a headache, which most of you have probably had in the past, not often, but have probably had a headache in the past when you've tilted your head backwards or if you sat at a desk too long. And most commonly it's because the muscles in the back of the neck and the joints at the back of the neck as well get very stiff. And what they tend to do is refer pain up and over the head. Good, and the same thing, I'm just going to swap the arms over. When I come over this time, a little bit further, but this time what I always do is I want you to almost try and pull backwards. So with your shoulder, I want you to try and pull it this way whilst your arm is pulling the opposite way. Okay, and you'll feel the stretch coming right across the side of the shoulder there. Good. Now, so I'm going to focus a little bit on shoulders and probably top part of the hips, lower back and legs today, purely because of our desk-based postures and also because a lot of us are doing a lot more exercise, walking, running, and we're not stretching at all. And the same again, just going to bring the arm across. Good. And the same thing, you're going to pull the shoulder back the opposite direction whilst pulling with your arm this way. Good. So I'm going to keep adjusting my leg position just so you can understand that you can do both. If you're going to do both, and it's all about sort of control and posture. I think stretching is. It's a case of looking after it. Good. And then from there, just open those shoulders up. I'm going to bring the hands out behind. All let's do is let's place them on the floor, so you can place them palms facing down. Now what you're going to do is squeeze the shoulder blades together and really push the chest forwards. Again, there should be a nice little, almost curve in the lower part of your back. We talk about neutral spine, but neutral spine's a little bit misleading. You do need to have a little bit of a curve in that lower part of your back. But hands on the floor, push the chest forwards. You'll feel the stretch across the front of the chest. You'll feel a little bit of contraction in the muscles in the back, but also you'll feel it across the front of the shoulders, across here. Okay, just try and open you up a little bit. It's that slouch position we're all kind of getting into at the moment. But as you come across there, you'll feel the stretch all the way through. Good. If you're joining us late and you're just joining in, you will need probably a glass of water and probably a small hand towel as well. So do feel free to just run off and grab those, and you can always dive back into this video as well. Good. Perfect. And then from there, just stretch that off, arms forwards. Okay. Now, what we're also going to look at is mobility, because one of the biggest things we don't have at the minute is a lot of rotational mobility. So, what let's do, just going to bring one leg over the other one, place the foot on the floor, And then we're just going to hold onto the knee just gently, and we're just going to just gently just push around. Okay, you'll feel a stretch in the lower part of the back. Good. So you're pushing onto the leg here, and almost pulling around with this hand as well. Good, and you'll feel the stretch all the way through the lower part of the back. Now, a lot of people will actually say they get a little bit of a crack or a little bit of a pop, and they get very concerned when they get that. And the same thing happens when they use foam rollers. And in this position, what you don't want to get into a habit of is forcing it too much. You want to get to a point where it's stretching, but you're not pushing it too far where it's cracking and popping. That's my job, and there's an art to that. There's definitely a skill to that, and you don't want to overdo that as we're finding some clinics are at the moment. But nicely, just stretch into there. Good, and then slowly, move the leg across, and again. Just going to just gently push with this leg against my knee, and then with the other hand just going to pull across, just so you can feel the stretch in the lower part of the back. And you can adapt this. I mean, these stretches you can take away, you can do them every day, but so long as you are doing them in a safe manner. I mean, stretching, if we're going to talk about stretching and safety, there's not an awful lot to really overly consider, but it's a case of not pushing things too far, giving yourself time, all right? Because a lot of us don't give ourselves enough time to stretch. We do a little bit of a session in the morning or after a gym workout, which lasts about 30 seconds, and then from there we get a little bit lazy. Good. If you are watching this in the comfort of your own bed, A, I'm very jealous, but B, sort it out, get on the floor and get yourself stretching, because ultimately we've had some very different, varied lifestyle changes over the last couple of months, and yeah, you're going to need this as much as anyone else. So that should be the lower part of the back. Now always do, again, legs straight. If you can't, I'm very sorry that I'm not able to do sort of advancements and come around and show people what to do, purely and simply it's very difficult, obviously, being a live video. But do send me a message afterwards if you need to. What we're going to do is just going to try and stretch off that lower part of the back again. Okay. Now the way in which I want you to do this is just running fingers down the shins, down towards your toes, so you're almost concaving the back, the lower part of the back over. Okay. Now if you have the flexibility and you have the range, I want you to do this with legs straight. I'm just going to just gently take it down. Now you will feel this a little bit more on the back of the legs, at the hamstrings. So as we come down, just hold it. Okay. And what we need to do is try and increase the curve rather than the reach. Okay. So what I mean by that, you're just trying to slowly breathe into it and out, and just relax in. And if you hold it, it will gently get easier each time. Especially that stretch to the back of the legs, it will slowly start to ease. Good. Now I am gently holding onto my legs just so I can almost encourage myself down a bit further. Okay. And good. Okay, that should feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more useful, a lot more mobile. Right, grab some quick drink. So what we're going to do is we're going to start taking this a little bit more into a mobility aspect as well. So we're going to be on your feet. I've got fluff everywhere in this rug. Okay. So from here, all we're going to do, first of all, nice and strong. This is something you can do every morning, okay? So mobility for the lower part of the back is something we all struggle with because we sit in one position. Doesn't matter how mobile you think you are, whether you sit in one position driving, whether you sit in one position when you're at work, we all sit in one position, but it's the length of time. Biggest misconception ever. It's not posture, it's the length of time you're in a set posture for. So every morning as you get up, plant your feet, slight bend in the knees. Okay, from here, arms are going to be 90 degrees, but you're just going to gently, keeping the hips facing forwards, okay, gently, just going to rotate side to side, okay. Now with this one, you may get a little bit of popping, a little bit of cracking, slightly higher at the back. Do not panic, okay. It is not a bad thing. It is the equalisation of pressure. It's designed to do it, okay. Literally, we're just going to keep rotating for a couple of minutes, just to gain some mobility. Again, keeping quite tall, quite upright. Arms stay 90 degrees, and I'm not swinging my hips. I'm not doing this. Okay, it's a case of keeping the hips still and rotating upper body. Good. And this is something you do every morning. As soon as you get out of bed, try and gain some mobility. This is the movement right here that we don't do enough of throughout the day, much like rotating the head as well. Okay. Then same thing, legs slightly wider, slightly wider than the shoulder width apart. Okay, but always do. Just going to reach down. Again, just in that stretch all the way through that side part of the back, side part of the torso more than anything else. I've got a real thing against the word core. If you want to know why, it's another video really. Feel free to ask me in a message, and I will try and give you a short response. However, do be prepared, it might be a 30-minute explanation. Okay, just all we're doing is just gently reaching down the legs so you're feeling the stretch on the sides, just through here. Okay. Good. I did say it's going to be a little bit active. I did say there's going to be a little bit of movement involved. Steady consolation, we're halfway through. Okay. And we've still got the fun stuff to do. Good. As we come down again. Perfect. Now, just as the advancement for this, if you can manage it and you want to, just going to bring the arm just over. Just going to reach just over towards the wall. Again, slide the hand down. If you've got the mobility through here and it doesn't feel like you're tearing it, what I always do is just come over and hold. You're not going to bounce, we're just going to hold for about sort of 5 seconds. And over this side. Again, really feel that stretch on that side. So just reaching up over towards the wall. If you're watching this from bed, get out of bed. Get on the floor. You can actually do this on bed, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do this on your bed. And hold. Good. And if you're saving this video for later, because you've had a lie-in, very jealous. I've already done a run this morning, hence why I'm a little bit bedheady and a bit sweaty. Okay, right. Next one we're going to do is something for calves. So you are going to need a wall for this, or you can do this in the position I'm going to show you. So the wall variation is to hold onto a wall. Okay, just imagine I'm miming right now. Heel is going to stay flat on this back leg, and all I always do is just push the heel down into the floor. Okay, so you can feel the stretch at the top part of the calf. So this is the top part of the calf just here. There is a bottom part, which we'll come to later, but that is the stretch against the wall. That is quite a good variation. It's quite an easy one. If you feel like you want to do it a little bit more actively, slight press up position. I'm going to place heel on the floor again. Raising the bum up, nice and controlled through the shoulders. I'm just going to rock backwards so you can really feel that through the top part of the calf, just here again. And again, just going to hold it for about 30 seconds, this one. You'll be surprised how many of us at the minute have got very, very tight calves because we're walking or we're running or exercising more than we probably ever have done. So it's quite useful to be able to stretch these off. Good. Again, try not to bounce, just feel the stretch. If it feels too tight, just take a bit of slack off. Now what we're going to do is change legs. The heel on the floor. Again, if you're doing this against the wall, swap the leg over. Again, I'm miming, but just that position there, driving the heel into the floor. Okay? Good, you can do either one of those positions, against the wall or on the floor in that press-up position. Okay, whichever one's a little bit more to your standard, to your ability. Okay. Next one is the important one. So this one is obviously for the top part of the calf. The next one is for the lower part of the calf, which is something we don't do an awful lot of. What we should do, we're going to bring the foot, if you're against the wall, we're going to bring the foot slightly further, or slightly closer towards us. We're going to bend the back knee, and I want you to sit back down into it. So you feel the stretch in this lower part of the calf, just down here. Now, important. Neutral or slight curve, as I like to say, because I think neutral is the wrong word. I think it's a little bit misleading. Okay, and you just want to drive the heel into the floor again so you feel the stretch in the lower part of the calf. This is the one we never do. None of us know how to do the stretch, and we don't do enough of it. Okay, if you're in that press-up position, this one's a little bit difficult, but you're going to bring the foot again a little bit closer, and again drive the heel in. But it can be difficult if you've got a very tight ankle. So with this stretch, I do suggest to do it against the wall, okay? And change leg, that should be your 30 seconds. Again, I'm miming, I've got my wall. I'm driving that heel back in, knees there. If you can, if you're against the wall, so if I demonstrate, if I was against the wall, what I'd do is I'd be able to take the pressure off and still feel the stretch through here, whilst dropping the knee down, okay? So, we'll be feeling the stretch in that lower part of the calf, just at the sock line. It's one of the leading muscles in a problem called plantar fasciitis. So, if you've self-diagnosed over the last couple of days and you found out you've got plantar fasciitis, then you want to be able to look at this muscle, okay? Good, that should be 30 seconds. Then, we're going to move on to some ankle mobility. Okay, now the way in which I want you to do this is you're going to place foot on the floor, gently, so you can hold onto the wall again if you need to do that. Okay, if you need the stability to hold onto the wall, do so. But you're going to place the top part of your foot, almost bending the toes underneath. And all I want you to do is just roll the ankle around. Okay? And all we're trying to do is just gain some mobility through there. Again, holding onto the wall. If you can do this standing up without a wall, absolutely fine. You don't need the wall if you don't need to. Good, again, a lot of us are exercising a lot more than we probably were before lockdown, so it's important. I'm hoping my video has been reclaimed by B2 Triathlon Clinic or by my personal page, because Sony did try to steal it, because we had some playlist music going. It was great, and then Sony decided that there's copyright and stuff, so and then I always do swap the angles over. My other half's going to go crazy because I'm making divots in the rug. That'll be an interesting conversation for later. Good. And again, I'm holding onto an imaginary wall. I don't just have my hand up for the sake of it. Okay. And just roll the ankle around, in to out. Good. Nice and easy. Nothing too dramatic. Brilliant. So that is calves and ankles just loosened, okay? Then we're going to start to get our foam roller or your rolled up towel out. So if you don't have that, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to get one. Go get a drink as well, just have a quick swig of water. And we're going to focus a little bit more mid-back down to top of the legs and the thighs as well. Again, a lot of us are doing a lot of walking, a lot of running. It's important to try and keep that all supple and mobile. So, right, so if you've got your towel or you've got your foam roller, you can use either. I'm going to demonstrate with the towel purely because it's more applicable to the majority of people, okay? So, what we're going to do, I'm going to start with the foam roller. I'm just going to place it middle of the back, okay? So that is going to be roughly bra strap area. For those of you that don't wear a bra strap, it's kind of just underneath your armpits, okay? So, from here, all I want you to do is just going to gently, I'm going to keep head, neck, shoulders all quite neutral. I'm just going to let them just drop over the towel, okay? Big deep breaths, and every time you breathe out, I want you to fall and drop everything downwards. So into that towel. It will feel a little bit uncomfortable to start with, and if it cracks or it pops, don't worry, it's designed to. All these joints in your body are designed to crack. That's the whole point of it. Cracking isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's a natural thing. Good. Big deep breaths, just let the shoulders drop down into the floor. Good. Let the arms relax. Brilliant. And then from there, what we're going to do is just going to bring the feet a little bit closer towards the bum. I just want you to push yourself backwards a touch, just a touch, okay? So probably about an inch. Okay, get yourself comfortable again. Again, it's going to be a little bit lower than that bra strap level, but it's not going to be in your lower back curve. You should still be able to feel that curve, or get your hand underneath all the way through. Okay. The difficulty with using a foam roller or a towel in that lower part of the back is there's a natural curve there already. And the last thing you want to do is put something in there to increase that even further, because it's not really designed to go any further. Big deep breaths. And relax into it. If you've got music in the background, I'm very, very jealous right now, because I could do with just a little bit of something, whether it's meatloaf or... Actually, meatloaf would be quite good right now. A bit Bon Jovi. Actually, no, scrap that. Hammer Time, Queen. That'd be my go-to song right now. Good. Big deep breaths. Okay, and then feet are going to come a little bit further apart, further away from you, and then again, just going to slide down If you need to sit up because the towel isn't moving with you, the foam roller will often move with you. Otherwise, you're just going to just come down again, and again just relax over. And this time I want you to be a little bit an inch above that sort of grass strap line. Well, an inch above just sort of where your armpit sort of level just is. So my towel is just around sort of here. Okay, and again just relax it over the top of that. Now I'm not big on sort of the breathing aspect of this. It's more a case of getting you to relax. Breathing obviously is important. Without it we die. But we all kind of learn and grow up knowing how to breathe. There are different ways, different mechanisms, different training mechanisms. But for the purpose of this video, it is simply a case of trying to just get you to relax over the top of that towel or foam roller, and just to gain a little bit more flexibility. What we're trying to do is trying to open the spine up, okay? Especially through the middle part of the back, because it's the bit we slouch through, we slump. Shoulders come forwards, and it's also a very stiff part of our body because of the rib cage, because it attaches to the spine. And then gently just bring yourself back up. If you need to roll off the foam roller and bring yourself up, you can do, okay? Otherwise, good. So let's put the towel to one side. Now we're going to focus on legs, top part of the legs and thighs. One of the biggest contributing factors towards lower back pain is bum muscles. Typically two. There's one muscle called the piriformis, which most of us have heard of. It's very deep to the bum, and it actually can squash onto the nerve as it comes out. Or then there's another muscle called the gluteus medius. Now, the first stretch I want you to do is I want you to bring one leg over the other one. Okay? You're going to hold onto the knee, interlock fingers, hold onto the knee with both hands, or just below the knee actually. You're going to bring the leg up and then pull across the body. Now, it's important to keep the shoulders facing forwards. Lower back is nice and upright, shoulders are tall, okay? And then from here, you're pulling up and across. You're aiming the knee towards the opposite shoulder. Many of you I've shown this stretch to you before, and it's purely because it's such an important stretch to do, especially after exercise, after you've been somewhere, after you've been doing something that involves you working these muscles quite a lot, okay? You'll feel the stretch all the way through here. If you feel any pinching in the front of the groin, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you've actually got quite a lot of structures in the front of there. So whether you've got tight hip flexors, tight muscles in that top part of your groin, that's often the case. Okay. So just holding that across. Good. And from there, I'm going to swap the legs over. This one for me is a little tighter, so I can feel it straight away. I want to hold on, and we're going to pull up and across, just across the body. You want to again feel the stretch in that lower part of your, top part of your bum, almost come around the side of the bum as well. Okay, good. That's it. Hold it up. I'm just going to hold it for 30 seconds. Again, really important stretch, this one. It's actually one of my favourites, I think. It's weird having a favourite stretch. Yeah, it's probably a favourite stretch. Good. And from there, kind of let the leg drop down. Okay, now then, next one is for the front of the thighs, for the quadriceps. Now you can do this one of two ways. I'm going to show you the way on the floor. The normal way is to stand up, okay, and to hold on to your imaginary wall again, and then to bring heel towards the bum. And then what you're going to do is basically hold in that position there, okay? Pushing the hips forwards will give you a bit more of a stretch down the front, but essentially from here, I'm going to keep knees together. But I'm going to show you the one on the floor. This is where your towel's going to come in handy, okay? So, what you're going to do, just grab your towel out, long towel, but we're going to go lengthways. Now just fold it in half a couple of times, from there, around your back, and just drop it on the floor, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to place one leg underneath the towel. And we're going to hold on to the towel with both hands, just so you can wrap it around the ankle and then pull it towards you. Okay? So you'll be able to see straight away. Sorry if I've muffled the microphone, it's on my ear. I've got the towel gently around my ankle. I'm pulling it towards me with my arms. Again, you'll feel the stretch in the front of your thigh. Head should be relaxed. My head isn't relaxed purely because I need to talk into the microphone, which is attached to my ear. And if I don't, You won't hear what I'm saying. Good. And then from there, if you lower that one down, I'm going to swap the legs over. So the tail's going to go on top for that one. It's going to go underneath for this one. And again, I'm just going to bring that up. So you can both ends. And we're just going to put it towards us. Okay, if you're doing this stood up, it is a little bit easier, it's a little bit less complicated. The towel does offer another problem, but you do get a nice stretch down the front of the thigh. Good. And hold it there for about 30 seconds. Now relax. Okay. Brilliant. So that's the front of the legs. We've got 2 more stretches to do, guys, so keep with me. We've got a couple more minutes left. Okay, so in a kneeling position, some of you may want to use your towel again, because what you may want to do is fold it up and just use it as a knee pad, because if you've got a hard surface, it's just a little bit more comfortable. Okay, so you're going to be almost in like a 90-degree lunge position, okay, leg on the floor, but then from here, all we're going to do is just going to lean forwards so you can feel the stretch down the front of the groin, okay, it's going to come right across the top of the pelvis. I'm just going to lean into it. Now then, you'll notice my shoulders are back, I'm not leaning forwards, I'm not leaning too far back, they're just quite neutral, and I'm doing all the work with this leg here to try and lunge forwards, leaving this leg behind, okay? Just feeling the stretch all the way through the front part of that groin hip area, because it is very, very tight. In fact, I can feel mine being very, very tight at the moment. Fantastic. I've noticed we've got a lot of people watching as well, so if you do have any comments or you want to sort of give us a little shout out, do feel free. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, whether you enjoyed it or not, whether it's been educational, and then just going to swap the legs over. I would like to know what your thoughts are on today's video, and again, if you'd like me to do another one, I mean, I can do a few more, or I can just repeat the one we've got on now. It's not an issue. I don't mind doing either or. I think it's just good to have a class going sometimes, isn't it? It's just good to have that interaction and someone telling you what to do, as opposed to trying to find the motivation yourself to do it. Is always quite difficult. That's my biggest problem with exercise. I think I really struggle with self-motivation. I really need telling. Again, just leaning into this still feeling that stretch on the front. Okay, good. Now the last stretch we're going to do is just going to leave this foot where it is. Okay, we're going to come back to that 90-degree angle position with the knee and with the hip. And then from there, we're just going to bend the knee backwards, or straighten the legs and bend the knee backwards. That's terrible English. We're just going to straighten the leg off. We're just going to just gently lean forwards, keeping the foot flat. That's the important part with this stretch, is keeping the foot flat. And you're trying to feel the stretch in the hamstring, the back of the leg. If you feel like you're going to topple or swaying side to side, place hands on the floor, okay, and you will feel the stretch in the bulk of the muscle. Now the biggest problem I have with hamstring stretches is that a lot of people do it stood up, and they do it with a straight leg, and they feel the stretch behind the back of the knee itself. Now the hamstring is actually split slightly higher than the knee, so if you're feeling the stretch behind the back of the knee at the moment, you're probably not stretching the hamstring. You're probably stretching this, either the sciatic nerve or a muscle at the back of the knee called the popliteus. But good, you'll feel that stretch all the way through, just pulling. Good, and then relax. The way to relax this one is, instead of just taking the leg backwards, is to just come back to the 90-degree position, bring yourself up, and then change the legs over. Okay, same thing on the other side, 90 degrees again, keeping the foot flat. We're just going to just drop the leg backwards again. If you need to support yourself, do. You'll feel the stretch at the back of the leg just there on the hamstring. So I've already done my exercise for today. I just had a little 2.5 kilometre run just before the class. I had to get back, set up all the technology, which absolutely seems to be fine. Doesn't seem to be too flawed at all at the moment. I'm hoping that everyone can hear me and that I'm not sounding too muffled. I wasn't too sure on the microphone situation, but and that's it. You feel that stretch all the way through. Good. Now from there, gently again, bring yourself back to neutral. We're going to stand up. And then one last thing to do before we finish. It's just standing, feet planted, nice slight bend, and again just a little bit of rotation again just to finish it off. Again, this is the one I really want to encourage you to do more often throughout the day. Hips are facing forwards, okay? I'm not moving my hips, I'm moving my upper body. Okay, just rotating arms around a pivot. This movement is the movement I need you to try and all achieve. Okay? We're not just sat facing desks, I need you to move it. Otherwise, good. I feel a lot more supple, a lot more flexible. Actually, I feel a little bit more woken up as well. Thank you for joining, and thank you for sort of tuning in and watching the video. And yeah, if you've got any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment on the video, like it and share it, and hopefully we'll get a load more people involved next time. I'll try and do it on Wednesday morning. So I'll try and aim to do one after Joe Wicks has done his PE at 9. I'll probably do a video about 10, and we'll do a live, I'll do another live video about stretching and routines and things. Otherwise, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Hopefully the weather stays good like it is right now. And yeah, I'll see you Wednesday. Cheers.